Joining us this morning, Titania Jordan.
Tatiana Jordan. Did I get the name right? Jordan?
Titania.
Titania. Okay.
Titania.
All right.
It's Titania Jordan.
Woo! 2 cups of coffee. Let's do this. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Connect. I'm so excited to have Emma Colpitts here today. You founded PullSpark.
I did,
And
yes.
that's like the coolest name ever. And the logo is beautiful. But aside from all that, what is PullSpark?
So we're a creative agency in the film and event space, and then we also do campaigns. Because a lot of times when people come to us, they're like, hey, we have a video idea, we need a video for this thing, but they're not thinking through the message. So we'll help them think creatively from start to finish of like, what's your message, what are you trying to say, and then help them create a fantastic video or event or anything like that. So
it's amazing. I love what you do. I'm obviously a geek for anything like cameras. Hello, we're filming live right now. You know, like and creativity and storytelling and copywriting and advertising and marketing. It's just so much fun.
it's so much fun.
How did you get started?
So I've done events and kind of functioned as a producer since college. I did an internship at a local radio station.
Yes, yes, for local radio. I see you, Star 94.
Yeah. So I had no idea what I was doing, and it was hosted by a former state senator in Kentucky, where I'm from. And so she hired me, and she's like, hey, sell sponsorship and help me produce the show. What should I talk about? And I was 21. I said, hey, we should talk about gas prices. Gas prices are going up and such and such. I even hosted one time, but we've buried that. It's long gone. So I've kind of always been in the industry and worked in live events and conferences. And I kept seeing, I kept hiring creative agencies or film and production companies, and I kept running into the same problem. And so finally I was like, I want to drive my own bus, and I see a problem that I can solve, so let's go do it.
So what's the problem that you solve?
Well, a lot of times, and we're here with a fantastic crew who puts on this show every week, and they are awesome. But a lot of times, people, when they start production companies, are usually started by a director, or what we call a DP, a director of photography. And director of photographies, they're creative, they have an eye, it's why they do what they do, right? They want to make it look great, and no one else can do that but them. They're an expert at it. But a lot of times they are running their own production company and not so great at the client side or making the appropriate cuts or things like that when it comes to what a company is trying to do for their audience. And so we come in and bridge the gap. We come in and say, hey, we understand marketing, we understand events, we understand all of this. We're a group of producers. Let's partner with the top directors in the industry so they don't have to worry about the client side, but they can just work on projects that they love. Right? Because some directors are great at documentary, some are great at commercial. So we actually don't have a director on staff. We just partner with the top in Atlanta. And they give us a better deal because we hire them so frequently.
Yay!
So we just kind of come in and function as the producer and creative director, and they love it, these directors of photography, because they get to just work on projects that they love, and they don't have to worry about the rest. So that's what we're trying to solve.
It's a smart business model. You're allowing people to utilize their highest and best gifts and focus on what they're good at.
Right.
And eliminate the other stuff that is not so much fun.
Right.
So that's awesome.
Right.
You mentioned a company some of you may have heard of, Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Yeah, what?
Yes.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
You're such a lady boss. What are you doing with them?
So if you don't know Home Depot,
that's a bigger problem.
Right. They're based here in Atlanta, great company. We got connected with the foundation side. They saw one of our videos, called us and said, hey, we love this. Will you come work with us? And we were like, sure. So we got connected and we started working on some videos with them. And then one of the things they do is their associates that work in their stores across the country, about 400,000 associates, every year, and not a lot of people know this, so what we're trying to do is help people understand this story. Every year, these associates, they go out and they serve veterans. So they have service projects all over the entire country, and they really ramp it up in the fall. They do it all year long, but they really, really ramp it up right before Veterans Day. So they go around the country, and 400,000 associates, they get out, they work on veterans' homes, they build ramps for them to get in their home better, they'll redo someone's bathroom and make it wheelchair accessible. They'll go into a veteran who is an amputee and go in and just remodel his entire first floor. They'll do yard work, anything. And so every year they've had this kind of campaign, and they came to us and they were like, hey, it's not gaining momentum, and then we want to get consumers in. So you could go and partner with Home Depot and volunteer.
Yay!
Yes! And so we came up with this campaign. It's called Choose to Serve, and it's the full campaign is choose to serve those who have served us all. And so we're building content. We came up with that language for them, and we're building content that is really call to actions to consumers and say, hey, meet Bernardo, who's in Austin, Texas. He's a Korean War veteran who's blind and has ropes all around his house because he can't see. He just became blind a couple of years ago. And we're gonna come in and we're gonna do yard work for him. We're gonna redo his bathroom, but we've got to keep everything the same because he's blind and he needs to stay in his home. And so we're choosing to serve those who have served us all, and we're just kind of helping them build content around that. So it's a lot of fun.
Emma.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love everything that you embody.
Fun.
You are based out of the Atlanta Tech Village,
Yes.
right? We have both a very special place in our heart for the team there. You know who you are. You're awesome. What has come as a result of being in that innovative space?
You know, it's crazy. They first called us because they said, hey, we have this thing on that we do the last Monday of every month, Startup Village, where people pitch. And I didn't really know much about Atlanta Tech Village. I had always passed the building, and I was like, oh, there must be a lot of tech companies in there. And they heard our name, and they said, hey, will you come partner with us and help us stream this? Because we also do live streaming. And I said, sure, that sounds like fun, right? It's just so much fun to follow the fun projects, right? And to do what you love. So I was like, hey, that sounds fun. We'll do that. So we did it for a couple months, and then Karen, who's the director of Atlanta Tech Village, said, hey, you should get a hot desk here. You should get a reserved desk and just office here. And I said, well, I'm kind of on the road a lot with video shoots. I don't know if that makes sense. She's like, no, you just need to be a part of a community. And I thought, you know what, you're right. At that time, I didn't have any employees. I was contracting everybody. It was just me. So I got a desk, and then it drove something in me to dream bigger, faster.
Yes.
Being around all of these people, even though I wasn't necessarily in technology. And about 3 months into it, I hired an employee, and then 4 months later, I hired another employee, and I was like, wow, we need an office now. I never thought I'd have an office. This is crazy. So we got an office, then we got a bigger office, and then being in there, I was able to dream even bigger, which is one of their core values. And in our industry, another problem that we're trying to solve in the film and production and event industry is the process is so convoluted. You have an editor, you have a producer, you have talent, you have a host like you who wants to see it, and there's all these moving pieces, and the feedback loop is a lot. There's a lot of people speaking into what we're doing, right? There's clients, there's directors, there's editors. You know how this
I'm aware.
Yes.
Y'all know what we're talking about.
There's a lot of people speaking into it, and so when you have multiple voices that are all giving feedback, it can get disjointed really quick. And the other thing is, we're not always known for being on time. We're not
Who, me? What?
We're kind of known for sending an edit at midnight. Hey, we just got this done. The deadline was 5 p.m. And so we've created this whole process in our organization that says, hey, if we follow this process, we will be on time and we will make excellent work. Well, there's not really a management software platform out there for what we do in the event and film industry, a project management. We've tried in our office. I've probably spent more money on trying different platforms than I have on office furniture or something. It's a lot.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and so one day we have this system that we've created, and we're using a bunch of different things. We're using Dropbox Paper, we're using Google Calendar, we're using all these different things. So finally I just sat down and was like, what would it look like to create a platform for this industry? And I looked up and I was like, I'm in Atlanta Tech Village. Why am I even asking? I never thought in a million years I would ask myself this question, but being around all these other innovators and seeing what they're doing and how they're successful and the resources that are just at the tip of my fingers in that building, I thought this is possible. So I had that thought, and then Titania, literally 7 days later, a fellow person in the industry who runs production in another place texted me and said, hey, listen, you've got this down to a T. You guys are always on time. What platform are you using? I've got to get everybody on the same page so they know what everybody else is doing. That's the biggest thing. It's like, what is my editor working on? You know, what is my other producer? Where is she in this project? Has the script been approved? Has it not been approved? What does our production calendar look like? And I said, listen to this guy. I said, it's not there yet. We don't have anything yet, but it's going to come in a year. We're going to have something. We're going to build it. Just so happens that my brother's a developer.
Yes!
So I was like, hey, we got to do this. And you know, honestly, I just don't know if I ever would have allowed myself to go there without being at Atlanta Tech Village.
You're a dreamer. It's awesome.
We'll see. We'll see if it works.
Well, how far
really
are you
scary.
into the process?
So I'm designing all of it right now. And so our next step is to get a user interface consultant to look at everything that we've mapped out. The platform will have 3 components to it, 3 different set of eyeballs that will log on and see 3 different things. They'll have our team, our client side, and a contractor side. So we're building the team side first. So I've got about 80% of that built out, and I've got about 10 different papers at home that have all like,
yes.
you know, this is what I want it to look like, this is everything that it needs to do. And then the more that I get into it, the bigger it gets, because I think, oh, now we need this, and now we need this feature. So the goal,
creep.
Yeah. So the goal is to build the team side first, and then obviously have a client function within that where the client can approve things. But the goal is to have the whole team site built by December, bring somebody on board to critique it, make it better, and then to actually start development on it the end of January. So we'll see.
Oh
Saying it out loud with you here on Connect is like,
makes it
we
real.
got to do it, right? You know, it makes it really real.
I know.
So it's scary to talk about. It really is, but I think it's good.
It's awesome. You know why it's awesome? Well, you know why it's awesome, because you know what it's going to be, but it's awesome because there's like a lot of people watching out there, and they're attentively listening, and they're like, how can I help Elma? Elma. I need more coffee. How can I help Emma? So tell them, like, how can they help you?
Let me know what you've seen in platforms that you like and that you don't like. I think in this phase, it's really important to get feedback.
Yes.
Like, even if you're using a different platform, what's your favorite feature?
Oh, can I chime in?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
What do you
so
like?
sometimes Mike, behind the camera, will upload things to Vimeo, and it's so cool. I can like click a button and just comment, like right on a like 1632, like. Yes. I like this, or 1642, Titania messed up, let's take that out. You know, like, so I love that feature.
Yes.
And it's time-stamped and it never goes away, and even if the browser shuts down, it like captures it, thank God.
Yes.
I love the whole G Suite, like Google Docs, Google Drive, that ability to share in real time, multi-platform.
Right.
I mean, anyway, we can talk about this offline, but we've got some ideas, right?
Right. Yeah, we use a similar function as Vimeo. It's Whipster. So we're hoping that this platform would integrate with things like, you know, our goal would be that it would integrate with like a Vimeo or a Whipster or a Frame.io. So we would be the pre-production to those tools.
Yeah.
And obviously then we could go to Whipster and Vimeo and be like, hey, you should integrate with us. We're really cool.
Yes.
Give us your email list.
Or pay us money.
So, you know.
It's awesome. It's
trying
awesome.
to think like things like that. So it's a lot of fun.
Where do you get your keen business sense from?
My dad, you know, I'm severely dyslexic. I didn't learn to read until I was in 4th grade.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
a lot of people in my family was like, hey, if you don't learn to read, it's okay. You're still valuable and loved. Glad I learned how to read.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, just severely dyslexic. So my dad there was 4 kids, and for some reason he just honed in on me and wanted to be really intentional. And so he's a dentist. He would take me to his office in the summer, and he would say, hey, you're going to work with me. And I was maybe 13, 12. I mean, I wasn't old enough really to get a real job. But he would pay me like $12 an hour. And you know,
wow, that is some coin.
I'm his favorite daughter besides my other sister. So he would take me to his office, and he didn't have a digital appointment book. He was very old school. He wanted to keep his overhead really low. So he would talk about that with me. And he would say, hey, go to the front, go to Pauline, get a copy of our appointments today, bring it back. So I would go to the front, I would make a copy. That's how we did it, make a copy.
Machine.
Yeah. I would bring it back, and he would go through everybody who would be coming in that day. He would say, now, Titania's coming in. She has her own show. It's called Connect. This is what it's about. So when you go to the front and you bring Titania back for her dental appointment, I want you to say, hello, how's the show going? I want you to know what's going on with her. So he just kind of taught me, and he was like, you just need to know what's going on with people. You need to remember their names. You need to write them thank you notes. You need to put 2 and 2 together. And he would just put me in situations to do that. I remember we had an architect design our high school, built a new high school. We had a friend of my dad's design it, and I was talking about just how it was really cool. I was 16, and my dad just looked at me. He said, well, you should write Jim a note. You should tell him what you think. I bet no one's written him a note. And just things like that, where he was just very intentional. So I credit a lot to my dad.
Your dad sounds a lot like my dad, and I am so grateful to him and to your dad for pouring into us. It's invaluable.
Makes a difference.
You have a wonderful eye, a great design aesthetic. Where do you find inspiration?
It's really funny, but Vogue magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably the only magazine I still look at, and I know what probably a lot of men think are like, are you looking at the shoes? And I'm like, yes, I'm looking at the shoes. But Vogue's ability to do the same thing for over 25 years, but make it different in every issue, astounds me.
Wow.
The way they do still images and bring in different things in culture. There's a documentary that you can watch on Netflix about one of their creative directors. Have you seen this?
No, I'm like, that's what I'm doing after this.
It's amazing. It's called the September issue. And so it's how they make the September issue. And I was blown away by their creative process. So I think looking actually at the magazine, how they do page layouts, how they do photography, really always, it's weird. It inspires me. I remember in the documentary, the camera guy was following around, and she had this model that was just up against a gray background, a photo we've probably all seen a million times, and the creative director was just kind of sitting there looking. She's like, how can I make this photo different? She turns around, she looks at the camera guy, and she says, can you jump holding that camera? And he kind of looks at her and he's like, I think so. And he kind of nods the camera up and down. And then you see the photo, and it's the model jumping and the camera guy jumping, and they're looking eye to eye to each other, both in the air at the same time. And I just thought, the ability for them to use what's natural and around them just astounds me. So I have a subscription,
Yeah, nailed it. I feel that way about Architectural Digest. The way that they, I've looked at their magazine since I was a kid, and it's just amazing, the form and function and the different styles,
right.
And the way that they've incorporated their Instagram account. A traditional print piece that then goes digital and then utilizes social to keep engaging people in the stories.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's cool. They have a really great Instagram account.
Yeah.
Gets me reading, so I'm excited. You and I both know people's attention spans, and we could talk for 7 hours because that's just how we do. But in the interest of not having people tune out, because God forbid, I want to leave people with some solid takeaways. You have this platform, you're on our show right now, you're awesome, you're doing really cool things. What would you like to say in closing? What would you like to say to anybody out there about, what inspires you, what you need, how we can help, what you see for the future, what means to you, any of that? Just feel free to go.
Well, I think I would just leave people with 2 or 3 takeaways. I would leave people with the first thing is you're more creative than you know.
Yes.
And creativity doesn't mean being a graphic designer or doing video or film. Creativity can mean how can you make processes more efficient. My husband works in Excel all day long, and he's so creative. He's so creative. And so I think one is just you're more creative than you think. And the second thing is there was something that kind of changed my life this year, a book that I'm telling everybody about. So if you haven't read this, you need to read it. But it really is what drove me that said, okay, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do this platform. If it fails, that's okay, but I'm going to do it. There's that small little voice in you that says, this is an idea, go after it, and you need to listen to that voice. But the book that really taught me that was this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you ever heard of it?
No, I'm going to go buy it.
Yes, it was actually written in the 1940s. Napoleon Hill, if you ask Steve Harvey with the Steve Harvey Show, right? You're like Steve Harvey. You're a go-getter doing multiple things, Titania. Seriously, you are. Steve Harvey, did you know he has more shows right now than anybody else?
Has ever had ever?
Ever. He has 7 shows right now. So what is it about Steve Harvey?
I love you, Steve Harvey. You're
Can we
so
get a little Steve Harvey right here? Right here? I know how you like to put those things.
I know. Ding,
Ding.
ding, right here.
Steve Harvey. Let's give him a kiss.
I love you, Emma.
Steve Harvey's inspiring us. But if you ask Steve Harvey, he would say the Think and Grow Rich book is what drives him to do what he's doing. It was written by Napoleon Hill, and basically Napoleon Hill, it's 13 principles to become successful. And I would just say, if there's anything in you that wants to do anything, whether it's with your kids or your family or work or anything like that, read this book, follow what he says, and you will be able to implement it and see change and dream bigger, I think, than you have before. It's phenomenal.
Nice. And then did you have a third? I think you had a third.
Did I have a third?
I think.
I got distracted by the thinking correct.
Like so
I think
excited.
our third was Steve Harvey again. Can we get Steve Harvey again?
Steve Harvey. It's all about Steve
Our
Harvey.
idol. It is. He's from Atlanta. We need to have him on the show.
Well, again, like throwing it out there. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, you are welcome anytime. Emma Cool Pitts, you truly are the coolest. Sorry to be cheesy, but that's how I roll. Pull Spark, everybody check it out. Let's drop your website up here. Where can they go?
Pullspark.com.
Yes! Yes for one name domain names.
And that's P-U-L-L, not P-O-O-L.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, no. Pull. P-U-L-L. Spark.com. Emma,
right.
you're awesome.
Thanks for having me.